we can listen to the beautiful sort of coherent picture that Stuart presents to us and say, maybe, and a really nice maybe, but let's say, and then we can listen to the life of Rinpoche and the reincarnation, which he himself says, maybe, again, a nice maybe with a big smile, okay? So my question is, if we grant both maybes, if we entertain both of these maybes, what difference does that make? What do we do with that knowledge? I guess my question is, essentially, if we have a plausible sort of a scientific picture, what do we do with that knowledge? What is the purpose? To what purposes could such knowledge be put, whether in the life of Buddhism or in the life of science, in your opinion?
So maybe after you know that everything is maybe, then you come to the point that in your life you will be able to say that you never know. You know that mantra, you never know? This actually, there's a story of this wise village old man, and he actually in his life he always say you never know, and he has a neighbor that actually doesn't say you never know. Everything is very like everything is, something happened good, then it is totally good. If something happened bad, then it's totally bad. So that the neighbor doesn't know how to say maybe, and that is why the neighbor doesn't know how to live his life by saying you never know. And the story goes like this. And this wise old man, he has a son, and then he actually went to his son went to the forest and find the horse, right? And it's the great news, right? So the neighbor came and congratulated the old man and said, wow, your son is so great, he did such a wonderful thing. And the wise old man, he said, you never know. He was not that excited. And the next day when he was training his wild horse, and the son fell from the horse and broke his leg. And the neighbor came to again, and was making a huge deal, saying, oh my God, what happened? This is such terrible, so bad. And then again the old man said, you never know. And the next day there was a war going on, and they are recruiting all the young men from the village, and the neighbor's son got picked up and recruited to the army, and the wise old man, his son, because his son's leg is broken, that he was left at home. And then the neighbor came again to the old man and said, oh my God, your son is so lucky that my son was recruited into the military, and what I'm going to do. And then again that old man said, you never know. So now you get the moral of the story, right? So I think if you live your life with this understanding that maybe everything is possible, it doesn't mean it is not there, because we don't understand. There are so many things out there that we don't understand. We cannot come to the conclusion by saying, yes, this is it, there is no something right and there's no something wrong. Ultimately, everything is relatively. So I think one thing that actually when we learn how to say maybe, you never know in our life, what happens is it opens up our mind. It opens up our mind, and our mind becomes not narrow mind, it becomes an open mind, wide open mind. And once our mind is wide open, then what happens? Our heart will also open. And in that openness space of the heart and mind, then happiness flows into that. So I think that is the main purpose. The consciousness, actually, like Dr. Stewart actually said about the consciousness as a momentary thing, and consciousness actually exists in the momentary. And when we talk about mind and matter, matter has a part. Actually, it is like the part with the direction. Like for example, like if we cut down all like the substance into small pieces, then it comes to some sort of like there are two Buddhist kind of ways of looking at it. One way of saying it is indivisible. One says it is divisible. And one who says indivisible actually like you cannot cut down this into two pieces. There's like something small as substance that's left. And then other one says there is like a part, because one that is touching the east is not touching the west. One that is touching the north is not touching the west. So something like from that. So mind, when it comes to the mind, how there is no physical direction or anything. So how we like say mind is the whole, and it has a part which is momentary. And when it comes to the death, then from the Buddhist point of view, we talk about this clear light concept. The clear light concept is actually our consciousness right now, when we are alive and when we are awake. At that time, our consciousness is very gross, like it has the many things happening. And at the time of death, what really happens is that actually it shrinks. It really shrinks, like into like very clear. When we talk about shrink, it is not like a physically shrinking. It is like from a time. Like usually our consciousness actually works. Like we call it like in the snap of a finger and the blink of an eye. Only that is how our consciousness works. Like only thing that finish one thing is within this period of time. And when it comes to the clear light, then actually it cut down into like a many momentary, and then when it cut down into momentary, then it becomes free from all the conception. So there's no idea, and like it is almost like you don't know what is really happening, but there's like a very clear concept, what do you call, the free of conception kind of consciousness at the time of death. And then this one leaves the body and then gets into the next body. And then it's starting to becoming more grosser and bigger.